Picture tearing open a box of chocolates, your birthday gift from your dad, thinking it's love, only to learn it's poison, a cruel trap that shattered everything. I'm broken, screaming inside, because those chocolates, gleaming like false promises, were stuffed with deadly drugs, smuggled by the man who was supposed to protect us. My nephew, just 7, ate them, and now he's fighting for his life. My trust, my family, my hope, it's all gone. I've got nothing left but the truth. Stay with me to see how this betrayal tore us apart. Ever been stabbed in the back by family? Comment below. That box of chocolates ripped open a wound I'd spent years trying to stitch closed. I'm 32 now, living in Seattle, carving out my own life as an interior designer. My apartment, all 800 square feet of it, is my sanctuary. Every paint swatch, every throw pillow chosen by me, free from anyone else's shadow. But no amount of distance can erase the weight of my past, the suffocating grip of my dad, Victor Bennett. He's a real estate tycoon in Portland, 180 miles away, with a bank account as deep as his need for control. Growing up, our house felt like a pressure cooker, his voice booming through every room, dictating what I wore, who I befriended, even what I dreamed. When I was 15 and my brother Lucas was 11, our world cracked. Dad and Mom, Eleanor, divorced in a storm of screamed accusations and slammed doors. Dad fought dirty, using his money to win full custody, painting Mom as unfit. She moved to Denver, 1,200 miles away, promising to fight for us, but his lawyers buried her in paperwork. By the time I was 16, her calls stopped. I didn't blame her, I saw how Dad's cruelty crushed her spirit. "You're better off without her," he'd say, his tone cold as steel. But I felt her absence like a missing limb. Dad's love came with a price tag. Every birthday gift, a shiny bike, a laptop, was a transaction. "Don't forget who gave you this," he'd smirk, his eyes daring me to step out of line. I clawed my way to independence, studying design at the University of Washington, moving to Seattle after graduation. But Lucas, 4 years younger, wasn't so lucky. His wife, Sarah, died of cancer 3 years ago, leaving him alone with their son, Mason, who's 7 now. Lucas, a chef, drowned in medical bills, $200,000 worth. Dad swooped in with cash, but it was a leash. "I'm saving you," he told Lucas, "but I heard the truth, you owe me." Lucas and Mason are my heart. I drive 3 hours to Portland every other weekend, bringing Mason his favorite pepperoni pizza, giving Lucas a break. Mason's giggles, his sticky fingers grabbing my hand, make the 360-mile round trip worth it. But Dad's shadow looms. Last month, he showed up at Lucas's apartment unannounced, barking about Mason's messy hair. "You're failing him," he snapped. Lucas just stared at the floor. I stepped in, heart racing. "Back off, Dad." His laugh was ice. "You think you're free of me, Chloe? You'll see." That moment haunts me, a warning of what's coming. My 32nd birthday was supposed to be a quiet escape from the chaos of my past, a day to breathe free of my dad's shadow. Living in Seattle, I'd learned to cherish small joys, far from Victor Bennett's controlling grip in Portland, 180 miles south. That Saturday in April, I woke to soft rain pattering against my apartment's windows, a 800-square-foot haven I'd made my own. My plan was simple, a morning yoga class at the community center, brunch with friends, and a cozy movie night. No grand parties, no forced smiles for Victor's sake, just me, choosing my happiness. The yoga class left me centered, my muscles humming with calm. At brunch, my friends Tara and Mike toasted me with mimosas at a trendy Capitol Hill cafe, 2 miles from my place. They gifted me a set of watercolor brushes, remembering my love for painting, a hobby I'd neglected since college. "You're always designing for clients," Tara said, grinning. "Paint something for you." Their thoughtfulness warmed me, a stark contrast to Victor's calculated gifts. I hugged them tight, my heart full, thinking maybe I'd finally built a life beyond his reach. Back home by 2 p.m., I found a delivery slip taped to my door. Downstairs, the concierge handed me a package wrapped in silver foil, tied with a crimson ribbon. My stomach twisted. Victor's handwriting on the attached card was unmistakable. Happy birthday, Chloe. Enjoy these sweet treats. Dad. I stood frozen in my living room, the box on my coffee table like an uninvited guest. Victor hadn't called in months, not since our last clash when he belittled Lucas's parenting. Why now? I traced the card's edges, memories of childhood so-called flooding back, how I'd savor them during rare moments when Victor was away. Had he remembered? Could this be a genuine gesture, a crack in his armor? I opened the box, revealing a mahogany case stamped with Chocolate Deluxe, Vancouver. Inside, 40 pieces of chocolate gleamed, dark truffles, caramel swirls, each a tiny masterpiece. A booklet described their origins, handcrafted, imported from Canada. It was extravagant, classic Victor, but also personal in a way his gifts never were. My walls softened. Maybe, at 60, he was trying to mend things. I let myself hope, a dangerous spark flickering in my chest. Then my phone buzzed. Lucas, his voice strained. Chloe, I'm so sorry to bug you on your birthday. My sitter bailed, and I've got a shift at the restaurant. He sounded like he hadn't slept in days. Lucas, 28, was still piecing his life together in Portland, raising Mason alone while juggling $200,000 in medical debt from his late wife's cancer battle. Victor's help kept him tethered. Without hesitating, I said, "Come over. Bring Mason. We'll make it a birthday party." 3 hours later, they arrived at my door, Mason bursting in with a gap-toothed grin, clutching a handmade card scrawled with, "Happy birthday, Aunt Chloe." Lucas followed, weary but carrying a box of my favorite lemon cupcakes from a Portland bakery, a 180-mile drive just for me. "You didn't have to," I said, hugging him. "Yeah, I did," he replied, his smile faint but real. Mason's eyes locked onto the chocolate box. "Are those real?" he gasped, like he'd found treasure. At 7, his love for sweets was legendary. I laughed, the sound easing the tension in my chest. "All yours, kiddo." Lucas raised an eyebrow. "You sure? That's fancy stuff." I nodded, warmth spreading through me. What's a birthday without sharing? Mason dove in, picking a milk chocolate star, his joy infectious. Lucas chose a dark truffle, savoring it slowly. "These are unreal," he said, a rare lightness in his voice. We sat there, the three of us, laughing as Mason described each chocolate like a food critic, his hands sticky with caramel. In that moment, I felt whole. Giving away Victor's gift wasn't just generosity, it was defiance, a reclaiming of joy he'd never controlled. I had no idea that choice would unravel everything, that those chocolates held a secret that would threaten Mason's life and expose the depths of Victor's betrayal. The joy of my 32nd birthday crumbled like ash in my hands the moment my phone rang Sunday morning. I was still in my Seattle apartment, 800 square feet of calm shattered by the buzz from my coffee table. Victor Bennett's name flashed on the screen, my dad, who hadn't called since our fight months ago. My stomach knotted, the memory of those chocolates from yesterday, shared with Lucas and Mason in a fleeting moment of warmth, now tainted by his sudden outreach. I answered, bracing myself. "Hello?" His voice roared through, sharp and panicked. "Chloe, tell me you didn't give away those chocolates." I froze, gripping the phone. "What are you talking about?" "I gave them to Lucas and Mason. They loved them." The silence on his end was deafening, then a low, furious growl. "You idiot. Those weren't for eating. They're stuffed with my heart medication, pills I got from Canada." My knees buckled. I sank onto my couch, the world tilting. Heart medication? In chocolates? My mind raced to Mason, 7 years old, devouring 4 pieces with that gap-toothed grin, and Lucas, weary but happy, savoring 2. They'd taken the whole box, 40 pieces, back to Portland, 180 miles away. "Dad, what the hell?" I shouted, my voice cracking. Why would you put drugs in chocolates? Victor's tone shifted, defensive, almost frantic. It's not what you think. My prescription costs $5,000 a month here. Canada's cheaper, but customs is a nightmare. I hollowed out the chocolates to smuggle them. The IRS is auditing me, Chloe. I couldn't have them delivered to my place. His words hit like a punch. He'd used me, his own daughter, as a pawn to hide his illegal scheme, risking Mason's life to dodge a paper trail. You sent them to me knowing this? I whispered, bile rising in my throat. They were never meant for you to open, he snapped. I was picking them up next week. My heart pounded as I pictured Mason's sticky fingers, his gleeful, "These are unreal," from last night. How many did they eat? Victor demanded. 4 for Mason, 2 for Lucas, I stammered, terror clawing at me. They've got the rest. His voice turned cold. Get to Portland. Now. And don't tell anyone about the drugs, you hear me? Before I could respond, he hung up, leaving me staring at my phone, hands shaking. I dialed Lucas, my fingers fumbling. Straight to voicemail. Lucas, call me back, it's urgent. I texted the same, then tried again. Nothing. Panic surged. What would heart medication do to a 7-year-old? Low blood pressure? Worse? I grabbed my keys, threw on jeans and a hoodie, and ran to my car. The 180-mile drive from Seattle to Portland loomed like an eternity. Every red light, every slow truck on I-5 felt like a personal attack. I kept calling Lucas, leaving frantic messages. Please, pick up. It's about the chocolates. Mason could be in danger. My voice broke on the last word. The dashboard clock read 10:30 a.m. as I sped south, the Puget Sound blurring past. I tried to focus, but images of Mason, his giggle, his handmade birthday card, twisted into nightmares of him collapsing, pale and still. Lucas, already crushed by $200,000 in debt, didn't deserve this. And Victor? His betrayal burned deeper than ever. He hadn't just manipulated us with money, he'd gambled with our lives. I gripped the steering wheel, knuckles white, tears stinging my eyes. Whatever happened next, I knew one thing: Victor's secret was out, and I'd do anything to save Mason. The 180-mile drive from Seattle to Portland felt like a descent into hell, my heart hammering with every mile. I'd just learned the chocolates I gave Lucas and Mason, my 7-year-old nephew, were laced with Victor Bennett's smuggled heart medication. My dad's betrayal, using me to hide his illegal pills from an IRS audit, was monstrous enough. But nothing prepared me for the nightmare waiting at Lucas's apartment. I pulled into his complex at 1:15 p.m., tires screeching, and spotted Victor's black Mercedes parked crookedly, door ajar, like he'd stormed out in a rage. My pulse spiked. What was he doing here? I sprinted up the stairs to Lucas's 3rd-floor unit, the air thick with dread. Victor's voice echoed through the hall, furious, pounding on the door. Open up, Lucas. Give me the chocolates. I rounded the corner, breathless, and saw him, my 60-year-old father, usually polished in his tailored suits, now disheveled, hair wild, fists hammering wood. His eyes locked on me, blazing with panic. This is your fault, Chloe, he hissed, jabbing a finger. You gave away what wasn't yours. Before I could snap back, the door swung open. Lucas stood there, pale as death, his chef's apron still tied on. What the hell's going on? He demanded, voice raw. I pushed past Victor, my stomach plummeting. Where's Mason? Lucas's eyes widened, confusion turning to fear. He's at the hospital, Chloe. He passed out at the park an hour ago, right after eating another chocolate. My knees nearly gave out. Mason, my bright, giggling nephew, was in a hospital bed because of those chocolates. How many? I choked out. Lucas swallowed hard. 6 total. He snuck one this morning. 6 pills. For a 50-pound kid. I turned to Victor, rage boiling over. You said it was heart medication. What's it doing to him? Victor's face crumpled, his bravado cracking. It's not just heart pills, he muttered, avoiding my eyes. They're experimental, a new vasodilator from a lab in Vancouver. Not FDA approved yet. I was testing them for a partner. The words hit like a sledgehammer. Experimental drugs? In chocolates I gave to a child? Lucas lunged forward, grabbing Victor's collar. You used my son as a guinea pig, he roared, shoving him against the wall. Victor raised his hands, pleading. I didn't know he'd eat them. They were for a deal, $50,000 a batch. I needed the money. I staggered back, nausea rising. Victor wasn't just smuggling to save on costs, he was trafficking untested drugs for profit, risking Mason's life for a payout. You're a monster, I whispered, tears burning my eyes. Lucas released him, trembling with fury. Get out. Now. Victor stumbled toward the door, muttering, we can fix this. Just don't tell the cops. But Lucas was already grabbing his keys. We're going to the hospital. Chloe, you with me? I nodded, my mind racing. Mason was fighting for his life, and Victor's second secret had just blown our family apart. We ran to Lucas's beat-up Honda, the chocolate box clutched in my hands as evidence. The 5-mile drive to Portland General Hospital felt endless, stoplights mocking us. I called the hospital en route, voice shaking. My nephew ate chocolates with experimental drugs. He's 7. Please, help him. The nurse's calm instructions, bring the box, stay focused, did little to quiet the storm in my chest. Lucas gripped the wheel, his knuckles white. If Mason doesn't make it, he said, voice low, Victor's done. I swear it. I reached for his hand, my own fear mirrored in his eyes. We'd trusted Victor's gift, and now Mason was paying the price. Whatever came next, I knew we'd face it together, but first, we had to save my nephew. The 5-mile drive to Portland General Hospital felt like a lifetime, each second ticking like a bomb in my chest. I sat in the passenger seat of Lucas's Honda, clutching the mahogany box of chocolates, now evidence of Victor Bennett's betrayal. My nephew, Mason, only 7, was fighting for his life after eating 6 of those chocolates, laced with experimental drugs from a shady Canadian lab. Lucas's hands shook on the steering wheel, his face a mask of fury and fear. If Mason doesn't pull through, he said, voice low, Victor's finished. I nodded, my throat tight, the weight of our father's actions crushing us both. We burst into the hospital's ER at 1:45 p.m., the sterile smell hitting me like a wave. Nurses rushed past, monitors beeping chaos. I thrust the chocolate box at the intake desk. My nephew ate these, 6 pieces with experimental heart drugs. He's 7, 50 pounds. He collapsed an hour ago. The nurse's eyes widened, grabbing the box and calling for a doctor. Lucas paced, muttering, he's gotta be okay, Chloe. I grabbed his arm, my own panic barely contained. He will be. We're here now. In the waiting room, Victor appeared, his tailored suit wrinkled, his face pale but defiant. You shouldn't have brought that box, he hissed, stepping close. You're blowing this out of proportion. I stared, incredulous. Out of proportion? Mason's in there because of your drugs. Lucas spun around, eyes blazing. You used my son for your dirty deals, he roared, drawing stares from other families. Victor raised his hands, voice dropping to a desperate whisper. Keep it down, Lucas. You want the cops involved? I'll lose everything, my business, my license. I stepped between them, my voice shaking with rage. You don't get to play victim, Dad. You stuffed untested drugs in chocolates, sent them to me, and let a child eat them. You're the one who should be scared. Victor's eyes darted, searching for an out. It was a mistake, he stammered. I never meant for this. Lucas laughed, bitter and sharp. A mistake? You're a liar. Always have been. The truth poured out, unstoppable. I turned to the approaching doctor, a stern woman with a clipboard. "These chocolates," I said, voice steady despite my tears, "contain experimental vasodilators from Canada. My father hid them to smuggle for profit. My nephew ate 6. The doctor's face hardened. "We're pumping his stomach now. His blood pressure's dangerously low, but he's stable. We'll need that box for toxicology." She glanced at Victor, eyes narrowing. "And you'll need to speak with security." Victor paled, stepping back. "This is a misunderstanding," he insisted, but 2 security guards approached, faces grim. "Sir, come with us." As they led him away, he shot me a look, fear mixed with fury. "You're destroying our family, Chloe." Lucas sank into a chair, head in his hands. "He destroyed it long ago," he whispered. I knelt beside him, my hand on his shoulder. "We're Mason's family now. We'll get through this." A nurse called us to Mason's room. He lay there, pale, hooked to monitors, but his eyes fluttered open. "Aunt Chloe," he mumbled, voice weak. Tears spilled down my cheeks. "I'm here, buddy." Lucas gripped his son's hand, his own tears falling. The doctor warned us, Mason was stable, but long-term effects were uncertain. They'd keep him overnight. Relief washed over me, but the weight of Victor's actions lingered. We'd saved Mason, but the fight with our father was far from over. The hospital's sterile glow faded as Lucas and I walked away from Mason's bedside, his small hand warm in mine, his weak smile a fragile promise of recovery. Victor Bennett's betrayal, hiding experimental drugs in those chocolates, had nearly cost us my 7-year-old nephew. But in that Portland ER, something shifted. Lucas and I weren't just survivors of our father's control anymore, we were fighters, united for Mason. We knew we couldn't stay in Portland, 180 miles from my Seattle haven, under Victor's shadow. By Monday morning, we decided to break free, to start over in Denver, 1,200 miles away, where our mother, Eleanor Hayes, had rebuilt her life after Victor's cruelty drove her out. The decision wasn't easy. Victor didn't stop. Days after the hospital, he sent a $2,000 espresso machine to Lucas's apartment, a glossy card tucked inside, "Let's move past this. Family sticks together." I scoffed, tossing it in the trash. "He thinks he can buy us back," I told Lucas, my voice sharp. Lucas nodded, his jaw tight. "Not this time." When Victor showed up unannounced at Lucas's place, banging on the door at 7 p.m., we called the cops. The officer's warning wasn't enough, we needed protection. A week later, a Multnomah County judge granted a temporary restraining order, citing Mason's hospitalization and Victor's reckless actions. Victor's furious voicemail followed, "You're throwing away everything I gave you." I deleted it, my heart racing but resolute. Denver was our lifeline. I'd been offered a promotion to lead a new design studio there, a 1,500 square foot space with a view of the Rockies, a chance to build something new. Lucas, still carrying $200,000 in medical debt, landed an interview at a farm-to-table restaurant, a fresh start for the 28-year-old chef. Mason, our brave 7-year-old, deserved a life free of fear. We packed Lucas's Honda with essentials, clothes, Mason's favorite dinosaur blanket, my watercolor brushes, and drove 1,200 miles east. The journey took 18 hours, Mason singing off-key to road trip playlists, Lucas and I trading glances of quiet determination. In Denver, we rented a 2,000 square foot house in a quiet suburb, its backyard dotted with aspens. Eleanor met us there, her graying hair pulled back, her eyes soft but hesitant after 15 years of Victor's lies. "I never stopped loving you," she said, voice trembling as she hugged Lucas, then me. Mason ran to her, calling her Nana instantly. That night, over takeout pizza on paper plates, Eleanor taught Mason to sketch mountains, his laughter filling the room. "Look, Aunt Chloe, I'm an artist," he beamed, holding up a crayon masterpiece. Lucas squeezed my hand under the table. "This is home," he whispered. The move wasn't perfect. Mason had nightmares, waking up crying about hospitals. Lucas struggled with guilt, blaming himself for trusting Victor's money. I wrestled with my own scars, therapy sessions in a cozy Denver office helping me unravel years of Victor's control. But every step, watching Mason chase fireflies in our 500-square-foot backyard, seeing Lucas plate dishes with pride, hearing Eleanor's voice on our weekly calls, felt like reclaiming pieces of ourselves. Victor's shadow lingered in angry emails, but we were building something stronger, a family rooted in love, not manipulation. Denver's sunsets, painting the Rockies gold, reminded me we'd found freedom, not just from Victor, but for us. Sitting at our new dining table in Denver, 1,200 miles from the wreckage of Victor Bennett's betrayal, I watched Mason, my 7-year-old nephew, giggle over a slice of pepperoni pizza, his crayon sketches scattered across the table. Lucas, my 28-year-old brother, smiled softly, a weight lifted from his shoulders after years under our father's thumb. Our mother, Eleanor Hayes, now a regular in our lives, leaned over to ruffle Mason's hair, her laughter blending with his. This moment, in our 2,000-square-foot Denver home, was what family should be, love without strings, joy without a price tag. But getting here cost us everything, trust, safety, and a lifetime of illusions shattered by those chocolates. Victor's actions, hiding experimental drugs in a birthday gift, risking Mason's life for a $50,000 deal, forced us to face a brutal truth. Family isn't blood or obligation, it's the people you choose to stand by, who lift you up without demanding your soul in return. I learned that the hard way, driving 180 miles in panic, watching Mason fight for life in a Portland hospital bed, confronting Victor's lies. His voice still echoes in my nightmares, pleading, "You're destroying our family, Chloe." But he was wrong. He destroyed it years ago with every controlling dollar, every manipulated moment. I sat Lucas down one evening, our Denver backyard glowing under a Colorado sunset. "We can't let him define us anymore," I said, my voice steady but heavy. Lucas nodded, his eyes distant. "I kept thinking his money was love. I was wrong. Mason deserves better." That conversation cemented our truth: family is a choice, built on trust, not control. Eleanor's return taught us that too. After 15 years of Victor's lies, her tearful hug in our new home was a lifeline. "I fought to reach you," she whispered, her voice cracking. "He made me believe you didn't want me." Her words broke my heart, but they also set it free. Here's what I've learned, and I hope it resonates with you. First, spot toxic relationships. If someone uses money, guilt, or fear to control you, like Victor did with his $200,000 help for Lucas's debts, it's not love. It's a cage. Second, set boundaries, even if it hurts. Filing that restraining order against Victor, 1,200 miles from his Portland empire, was terrifying but liberating. Third, seek support. My therapist's office, a 10-minute drive from our Denver home, became my sanctuary, helping me unravel years of guilt. Friends, family, or professionals, they're your strength when you feel alone. I used to think family meant enduring pain, swallowing betrayal to keep the peace. But in Denver, watching Mason chase fireflies in our 500-square-foot backyard, I realized family is freedom. It's choosing who you love without fear of what they'll demand. If you've ever felt trapped by family, ask yourself, who's worth fighting for? Who makes you feel whole? "You're my home, Aunt Chloe," Mason said one night, his small hand in mine. That's family. Share your story below. Have you had to redefine family? What gave you the courage to break free? Your truth might help someone else find theirs. In our Denver home, 1,200 miles from Victor Bennett's toxic grip, I found a truth that changed everything. Those chocolates, meant to be a birthday gift, nearly stole Mason's life, exposing my father's lies, experimental drugs hidden for profit, risking my 7-year-old nephew for $50,000. That betrayal, born in a Portland hospital 180 miles from my old Seattle apartment, broke us. But from those ashes, Lucas, Mason, and I built something real. Our 2,000-square-foot house, with its 500-square-foot backyard where Mason chases fireflies, is more than a home, it's our freedom. Eleanor, our mother, stolen from us for 15 years, now laughs with Mason over his sketches, her voice a melody I thought I'd lost forever. One night, as the Rockies glowed pink beyond our windows, Lucas looked at me across the dinner table, Mason asleep upstairs. "We did it, Chloe," he said, his voice soft but firm. "We're free." I smiled, tears pricking my eyes. "Yeah, but it cost us everything." He nodded. "Worth it for him." That's what this journey taught me. Family isn't owed, it's earned through love, not control. Victor's shadow still creeps in, his emails piling up, unanswered, in my inbox. But we're done paying his price. You followed my story, from a glittering gift to a hospital nightmare, from betrayal to healing. Now, I need you. If this hit home, if you've ever fought to break free from someone's control, drop your story in the comments. What gave you the strength to say, enough? Your words could light the way for someone else. Hit that like button if Mason's smile, Lucas's courage, or my stand against Victor moved you. Subscribe to follow our new chapter in Denver, where we're building a life on our terms. Share this video with anyone who needs to hear that freedom is possible, that family can be chosen. Thank you, I want to say, my heart full, for being part of this journey. You're not just viewers, you're our extended family, cheering us on from screens across the world. Let's keep this conversation going. Tell me, what's your story of breaking free? I'm reading every comment, ready to connect. Let's inspire each other to choose love over fear, every single day.